Foodie just posted a bunch of pretty irresponsible travel tips, and I thought I'd take a moment to just debunk some of the worst of them. She's getting ready to go on vacation, and some of the things that she says are just common sense, but others are just downright wrong. So, without further ado, let's take a look at her video.
Airports are hard to maneuver. Even for a fit person, they're exhausting if you have to be running around when you're tired and traveling all day. So I have a lot of health issues, and I do have mobility issues because of my weight. Somehow on travel day, I'm able to just suck it up, but it is hard. It's harder for sure. It's more difficult. I get winded more easily. My lower back starts hurting. Just those kind of things. So,
what Foodie doesn't understand here is that mobility isn't something that's cute that you can just sort of tee-hee away. It's something that you need to address, particularly if you're going to be traveling. She's pretty much at the point where she can barely walk longer than 2 to 3 minutes, and she's getting ready to go to airports which can be miles long. So the first mistake she's making is not investing in something like a rollator. She's had one before and she didn't like to use it back in Canada. But whether she likes to admit it or not, she really needs something like this to help with her stability, her walking, and the portable seat aspect of it. Don't forget, when you're at an airport, it's not just a matter of getting from one point to another. You also have long waits in security lines. If you're not willing to invest in something as big and bulky as a rollator, you can get something like this collapsible stool. I got one of these for my dad, and it's a lifesaver. Because again, you don't want to be struggling, gasping for breath, trying to get to the next chair or lounge area. You really need to plan ahead.
If the airport has a service where you can request, for certain people, you can request a wheelchair, sometimes I approach these carts that are driving around and just beg them for a ride to my gate, and they usually do oblige, except when I went to Germany, they kind of just said no. So
Okay, this one made me mad. The people at the Frankfurt airport did not just tell her no. She didn't follow the rules and research her airport. No matter where you're going in the world, every single airport has to have some sort of mobility plan, and it's up to you, the passenger, to research it. It's right there on the Lufthansa and the airport website that they require at least 48 hours notice for a wheelchair. And that's what it'll be most of the time, a person actually pushing you in a wheelchair. If you do have a short connection time, you may want to go ahead and research this for yourself, book it ahead of time, and have tip money available, just small bills. Some airports do have golf cart services or large people movers, and that can be anywhere from free to something like 10 euros. Just ask about it. If you do decide to do a combination of things and get a rollator, then keep in mind that it can be transported for free as a mobility aid.
But here in the Middle East, they always have the complimentary service. Even in the Montreal airport, they do have a little train station you can wait at, and someone will take you to your gate if you're disabled, you have mobility issues, or you're elderly. So feel free to use those. But as for me, I try to walk it unless I'm really, really struggling. Then I'll ask for a ride.
If you take a look at the website for the airport in Doha, you'll notice that yes, they have lots of different mobility services, and you're directed to go to the information desk to access them. So don't listen to Foodie and stress yourself out by trying to wave one down. Just look up each airport where you'll be stopping, look up their mobility services, their access points, and plan on walking directly there. If you need help once you land, a gate agent should be able to assist you.
And I don't have anyone seated beside me, I usually just lift up the other armrest for more comfort. But yeah, depending on the airline, you can also, for an additional fee, small additional fee, book an extra seat beside you. I know a few airlines do that. I think some American airlines, some international airlines, it just depends. So you can also ask at the ticket counter when you're getting your boarding pass. You can ask, are there any seats left? Because most people will have their seats by then. Are there any seats left there's an empty seat beside?
Okay, yet again, no. Do not do as Foodie does and just wing it. If you know you need a second seat, get a second seat. Chances are it'll be a discounted price, so just ask. Worst case scenario, if they decide you need a second seat and you didn't purchase one and it's a full flight, you're not getting on that plane. Are you really willing to risk it? And chances are, if you can't afford a second seat, then you probably can't afford your vacation either, and you really need to rethink your travel plans. I'm not saying this to be mean, not at all, but a vacation is a luxury, and if you need a second seat, you really need to buy one.
Another thing is, I love the window seat, but the aisle seat actually gives you more room because you can kind of, whenever they're not doing dinner service, or you'll get knocked out by a cart, but you can kind of put your legs out a bit into the aisleway. You can spill out a bit into the aisleway, is what I'm looking to say.
Absolutely not. Do not, under any circumstances, include spilling out into the aisle as part of your comfort plan. Basically, disregard this entire video that she just put out. It's pretty much complete BS. If you're a nervous flyer or you have special mobility or seat needs, just look up the airport, give somebody a call. When in doubt, call your airline and talk to somebody there. With a little bit of planning and a touch of research, you can make your next flight pretty stress-free. Drop me a line in the comments and let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you.